Hey guys, it's TF Nut. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing another action figure review. This time it's going to be of the brand new Bandai Tamashii Nations SH Figuarts Yu Yu Hakusho Younger Toguro 100%. Very excited to finally have this figure. I'm a little late to this review because this got stuck in customs, but very glad to finally have it. As of recording this review, we do have a survey from Tamashii Nations asking what we'd like to see next in this line. At some point, I think that might be disabled, that survey. But I'll go ahead and leave it down in the description below if you are inclined to answer that. Hopefully I can find that link. I'm just going to go ahead and talk about this because I'm very excited. Toguro is an awesome villain. So, yeah, let's just leave it at that and get on the packaging. It says Bandai, as well as the figure in the box. It says Younger Toguro there. It's a little bit hard to see with the light and stuff. Also, it's a little bit of a darker box. You do see an image of Toguro there, as well as SH Figuarts. Yu Yu Hakusho's logo. The Tamashii Nations quality sticker, Studio Puro, if that's still how you're supposed to pronounce it. The Bandai and Tamashii Nation logos, as well as the Bandai Namco logo on the top there. On this side, it's not much. It just says SH Figuarts. They do slow down a little bit. It's going to say Toguro 100% here. Younger Toguro 100%, I should say. An image of Toguro right there. I'd like to see Toguro in the more normal look at some point. I'd like to see multiple versions of every character, if I'm being honest. I love the show. Full body image there. You also have here Younger Toguro. That is actually the continuing image from the front there. Not much else going on here. So the top, it just says Younger Toguro, SH Figuarts, and what SH Figuarts is about. It's going to say that what SH Figuarts is about is going to be on like every box. But here, if I could focus up a little bit, you do also have the image of the figure right there. And then you do have a support website right there. If I can even focus. Now the back of the packaging here, looking really nice. You do have, let's turn down the brightness a little bit. You do have some images of just some different posing. And also some stuff going on with Yusuke. I imported this so nothing is translated. But there you go right there, just in case you need that, ages 15 and up. Let's go ahead and get this figure out of the packaging. Here's the figure out of the packaging, and I do really like this figure. I think they did an awesome job with it. I feel like it should do a little bit more for the price you're paying, though, which is close to $100. And I say that, but there's not much else this figure can really do outside of what you have here. So let's talk about the accessories first. Then we'll take a closer look at the figure. Here's a quick look at all of the accessories, and you're starting to see what I mean when I say this could have done a little bit more. Or really, more accurately, this could have been a much less expensive figure, because really all we get are 3 extra faceplates. We have 1 new faceplate for Yusuke, which is nice, and then we do have 5 extra hands. That's it, and you're going at like $95 for this thing. So I feel like this should have been a little bit cheaper. I know the state of the world, the economy's not great really anywhere, and prices of action figures have been going up, but this is how much it was before all of this started happening this year. So I felt like if this was like maybe 85 or 80, this would have been a better deal. Anyway, looking at this faceplate though, it still looks really good. This is more of like, this could be a combative face, but it's definitely got more of like a taunting expression where the mouth is open, a bit more of a smile there. The thing about this figure, and it's kind of like this on the actual figure too, I think the gray looks really good, but there's not much shading that I feel like there should be. That being said, the eyes look great. That paint in the teeth and the mouth, like in the tongue there, all of that is awesome. All these pieces sticking out with these nice, almost vein-like detailing. Looks really good. And then you have how they did the head system here, which this much as a C here, making that look like that is a little awkward looking. Just a little bit. Basically, it should be easy enough to pop the faces off, but of course I'm not doing a great job right now. So you just pop it off like that. The head can pop off if you need to. And things are just falling apart right now. But it actually doesn't seem like it wants to stay in the neck peg too easily. It feels like it wants to pop out rather easily. That's just how you interchange a face. So just have to do that on camera. Instruction manual PDF will be down in the description if you need it. This is more of just gritting teeth, angrier expression. The detailing looks pretty similar. Spiky hair going on here as well, just like the previous head. This little one piece sticking out there. That's pretty nice to see. Last but certainly not least, because this is awesome, is a punched face expression. So going toe-to-toe with Sasuke, very nice like that. All of that stuff being pushed there. The eye being shifted, the nose, the mouth, all that being shifted looks really good. And then if you take a look at this face for Yusuke, pretty much the same concept. His face is being punched really hard, and I do think that that comes through really nicely with how his face is getting pretty smushed as well. I really dig that. Okay, so we also have these type of definitely grip looking hands, but they're more, I guess they could be relaxed, but these are extending a little bit more than the back of the hands. I know those back fingers are curled up a little bit more. Whatever's going on the back of the hands with this detailing on like the knuckles, looking nice. And we do have detailing, really good detailing of fingernails actually. That sculpting is great. It might be the light, but it does look like we get more of like a brownish finish in some points of the fingers. Again, that could definitely be the light, because some of these lights are a little bit warm on this. Excuse me, but still not looking too bad. It's just fuzz everywhere for some reason. Then you have these hands that are definitely more of an actual grip here. They're bent pretty evenly all the way around the way that the fingers are done. Again, really good fingernails. Nice creasing on the back of the fingers too. Getting back down against the back of the hand with the knuckles and all that. Nothing too much else to talk about. The inside of the palms, not much going on there, but still pretty good detailing. Last but not least, when it comes to hands, is just this left pointing finger. It has been a while since I've watched this arc. I don't remember exactly when in the arc. Definitely when he powered up to this level, but don't remember exactly the scene when he was pointing. But that's still really cool how we have this here for that type of posing. I'll have to rewatch some things. But yeah, it's just one finger sticking out. The rest are curled in. All that detailing is pretty nice. Just not really that much stuff for this figure. This is how Toguro comes packaged with this face sculpt. Looks like it's a little bit open, but it's definitely more of like a type of frown going on here. But all these faces are done very well with this type of detailing, with all these extra gray muscling going on there, as well as really nice printing in the eyes there. We get this flat top section here, looking quite nice, almost like Dolph Lundgren. Nice sticking out sections, really nicely detailed. Yes, there is a decent size crease separation there, and then you can definitely see that as this C type of shape going on. But I mean, you know, how else are you going to interchange the faces? Just wish it was hidden a little bit better. Then you get to the neck, lots of muscles there too. Really, a lot. It feels like there's some glossy gray and then some matte finish on some extra gray. So this is definitely more of a glossy type of gray section. And I want to say there's a little bit of shading in some areas, but it could also be the light. I feel like if there is any type of shading, they've added a little bit of this type of brown to kind of bring this out. But I don't think that's super accurate. It also could be molded in the plastic to make it look a little bit of a brownish gray, definitely leaning more on the side of gray. So that's what the back of that neck looks like. Whatever these parts sticking out here, almost looking like vents or something, they are also really nicely done. There's going to be some gappage, unfortunately. No matter how much you move this neck, I feel like there will be some gappage no matter what. With maybe not so much here, but I mean, that's going to be a little bit hard to hide, especially when you need to use articulation on this thing. Down to the chest. So nice stretching and parts separating from the pectoral area. Really nice pecs, you know, the center crease all the way down there on the chest. And you do have these really nice six-pack abs sculpted in there, very muscular. Almost looking like his skin is stretching beyond what it should, with some extra muscles on the back too. All of that looking rather nice. Can you look one more side? Or one more time at this side, I should say. You get to see a little bit of engineering. It's not too apparent going on here in the arms. So here's the thing about these shoulder pieces. They are on a separate system here. But the system in here, and we'll talk about articulation, and we'll cover this during that section. It's a little fragile looking. I don't know how sturdy this is going to be, so just be careful when you're moving this around. But on the outside, nice protruding like shoulder pad sections here. Like this is even, I think he even gets more buff like as the fight goes on towards the end of the fight. So this is like, if we had that version of this compared to this, that would even be more insane. He just gets bigger and bigger, I'm pretty sure. But and then a normal Toguro, of course, would be nice. But just looking at this side again of this muscle going on there. Very large pieces of plastic, too. So they're going to move. I mean, all of that's going to follow no matter what. But that's kind of how they have to do it. And then that butterfly joint section does also have some detailing going on there. A lot of stretching in the arms. All the way in the shoulders. Down to the biceps as well, even in the joint at the double joint, and even in these sections here that they have to plug in parts, there's some detailing. So I do think that is very impressive. And this part sticks out with this elbow right there, a little bit detailing. Forearm has some great muscular detailing again. Excuse me. And then we do have the fist on this side. It's just a ball joint for the wrist there. It's not the only figure to have a ball joint that doesn't really match up, but it's not that, it's really, to me, not that noticeable. All of this side going on here too. Yeah, this thing, that one thing I will say, sculpt work on this thing, very top notch. It looks really good, even if it does have a lack of paint going on there. Then we get to the jeans. We have a gold buckle there, just black all the way around the belt loops there. And there's some creasing, definitely, like in the pocket area, around the crotch area too. Then you get down to the leg sections where it's just a little too apparent that these are parts that they ported in here because of that separation in there. I still appreciate the effort. We do have some nice tearing detail right here on the front for the thighs. But maybe if it was all one piece and then they painted this, because this is definitely molded in gray, I think that would have looked a little better. But then this whole thing is definitely painted, but it's almost just like one base coat. I say that a lot with these SH Figuarts. They really like to do just one base coats for these figures. I feel like, is that a splotch? Yeah, I'll have to see if I can get that off later. But there's a splotch right there. Very minor. Still a little disappointing. Back of the knees, legs, I should say. Well, to knees too, but we have all this line work going all the way down here. Not much actually in the back of the knees, I will say. But the front of the knees, they have this line continuing all the way down here, even in the joint. So that's actually quite nice. Then you get down to the calf section here. Same approach as the front of the thighs. They just ported in these gray sections. I do wish they were actually like, this whole thing again was one piece, and it would have looked better if it was painted, I think. But I can't stress enough, it's really not that big of a deal how these look. You gotta look hard to really let bother you, I guess. Then we do have the top of the shoes. There's really not much going on there, but we do have ball joint ankles there. There's no detailing there. Then the bottom of the feet go on there, and my Alexa just went off. But yeah, there's not much to talk about towards the bottom half of the figure. It's just a guy with jeans with a little bit of muscles right there. But the upper half here, with all the gray stuff, the stretching muscles, whatever is going on with his body, all of that is really nice looking. Now, articulation on this thing is quite good. We do have that ball joint, actually. This is more of what we used to get, where we have ball joint here, but also there's a hinge at this top of the ball joint section as well. And then this combined range of motion because of this ball joint in the body there. So what you get is really up and then down, and it might take some finagling to get it to go side to side. Not too bad though. The face does want to pop off if you push down a little too far. That swivels just fine. That can decently swivel. The head really does want to. I mean, it stays on there fine. It just wants to pop off too much for me. Yeah, lots of range of motion there. Then you do have arms that do go all the way out, and I do want to show this before I move on to talk about the butterfly joint here, because when you push it down, this wants to follow with that. You see that section there? You can carefully push this back up, but yeah, just be careful. I really don't trust this being that structurally sound there. I feel like on one ball joint in there, not the most stable. But you do get forward and back at this, you know, butterfly joint. So you can go forward like this, make it go back. It goes all the way around pretty decent. Yeah, well, something's getting snagged at that point, but you just grab it and it should be fine. It goes all the way out again. Upper arm swivel, double jointed elbow there. And then we do have a hinge and swivel in 2 areas for the hand. So you can make it go up and down or forward and back. Ball joint here. So combined range of motion, really good. Forward, I feel like could be better, but I think the muscles are getting in the way. Side to side there. Rotation, absolutely no problem at the waist, but not much here. Legs go forward, actually really nice. The jeans are plastic, and this is a slightly softer plastic crotch piece, but it only wants to go back that far, really not by much. Then you do get splits there, almost a full split, but still really good leg articulation so far. Upper thigh swivel, double jointed knee there. Getting in here, you do get a swivel with a little bit of a ball joint going on in here in the cuff area. And then the jeans kind of get in the way, but they go down at the foot. It can go up like that. You can shimmy some things around too. And then the ankle rocker also going on there. Then you get a toe hinge. Looking at the size of this figure, it is quite large. We're looking at almost 18.5 centimeters. So that's actually going to put this at like 7 1/4 inches tall. I would say it's like an extra third of the size of the Yusuke figure there. And as you can see, that is much taller than Yusuke. Then you also have Ace that I recently reviewed. It's taller than Yusuke, but not as tall as Toguro, of course. On the far left there, we do have a standard size Black Series figure. On the far right, we do have a standard size Marvel Legends figure. They're going to be shorter, of course. Now, I do want to stress that I do think that this is a really awesome figure. I think it looks really awesome. Tamashii Nations really captured the look and scale of this version of Toguro, and I'd love to see what else they do, not only with other characters, but other versions of Toguro, hopefully in the future as well. Now, the thing is that I just don't feel like it's worth the 95 bucks a lot of retailers are going to have this as, because it really only comes with a few extra faces and hands for the figure. Then you get 1 extra faceplate for Yusuke, of course. Now, there's not much else you can really do in terms of accessories with this figure, but at that point, I would have, been happier at around $80 to $85, honestly. I just don't think right at almost $100 really makes it worth it, because there's not much paint going on here. I feel like there's some shading in some areas, but it could also be the trick of the light. I think the way that they did the upper torso, all of that stretching and detailing looks really awesome, and the articulation again is really sick. The way that you do the face plates is not too hard. The hands interchanging those are not too hard either. Everything sticks on this figure really nicely. It looks great with Yusuke. The jeans also look great. I'm not crazy with how the muscles poking through look, where they just have pieces of plastic poured in, but it's still a nice piece. I would just definitely wait for a sale. Yusuke hasn't really sold out, but he hasn't really dropped in price either at different points. I could definitely see this one staying in stock and dropping price at some point. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Comment down below what you think about the figure, what you think about the review. Leave a like, share amongst your friends. Follow me on Instagram for more content over there, and I'll see you guys later.